Alright, what's going on, y'all? So, a couple years ago, I posted a video called Settling the GOAT Debate, where I reacted to this LeBron versus Jordan career breakdown video by this guy, Danger Productions. The guy just dropped a part 2, and it's called Let Down, the most overlooked fact of the GOAT debate. All I know is that in the last video, this guy's a big Jordan guy. I'm, of course, a big LeBron guy, so I'm sure this is gonna be fun. Let's do it.
And that's it. Clock will tick. Minnesota is going to win this series and knock out the Lakers, the 3 seed, 4 games to 1.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Here we go, man. Here we go. I'm ready to put on my crown to defend my king. I have a feeling this is going to be an absolute attack on my glorious king, LeBron James. Let's find out.
To February 2nd, 2025.
A date which will live in infamy.
That's the day the Lakers pulled off one of the greatest heists in modern sports history, as they acquired Luka Doncic for 7 first-round draft picks. Wait, no. That's not right. For Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and 4 first-round draft picks. Actually, that's not it either. For Anthony Davis, Max Christie.
All right, buddy, let's get to the point. Come on.
And 1 first-round draft pick?
You serious?
Look, I'm still struggling to understand it myself. Best as we can tell, the Mavs traded Luka because he was, well, a little fat. And he drank too much beer. Don't get me wrong, when healthy, Anthony Davis is still a great player. But that caveat, when healthy, applies more to AD than just about any other player in NBA history. You're talking about
And yet, Luka was actually the more injured guy this past season, but hey, that's nor here nor there.
in his very first game with the Mavs, got injured again. Heck, this motherfucker's injury problem was so bad that it turned out to be contagious. Meanwhile, the player that Dallas traded away was a 25-year-old, once-in-a-generation superstar who literally just led the team to the NBA Finals the prior season. It didn't take long for their promise to become reality, as a quick 8-game win streak vaulted them up the standings before they ultimately settled into the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. And that seemed to be a fortuitous position.
I feel like I already know what this whole video is going to be about. I feel like it's going to be anecdotally looking at various teams LeBron was on and how they didn't end up winning titles. And he's going to say like,
oh, this Lakers team lost in the first round and that's disappointing. That's a stain on LeBron's legacy.
I also just feel like no one ever talks about Jordan's off-the-court issues. Like, I mean, the flu game. I think we all know what was actually going on that day, and it wasn't the flu. In fact, Jordan probably should have used the sponsor of today's video, Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration or anything else, that's to blame for your rough next day. And pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this exact byproduct down. So just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly and you'll wake up feeling your best the next day, unlike Jordan in that flu game. And use the link in my description to get 15% off your first order. Now let's get back to reacting to this piece of Jordan propaganda.
It allowed them to avoid the side of the West bracket that included the 68-win Thunder, Nikola Jokic's Nuggets, and the scorching hot Clippers. That said, their first-round opponent, the Minnesota Timberwolves, were no slouch. But the Wolves were coming off a somewhat disappointing regular season. Vegas installed the Lakers as 2-1 favorites to win the series. But, as they say, games aren't won on paper. And when they did play the games, the Lakers did not win in 5.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
I gotta admit, the editing's pretty funny.
As a matter of fact, it was the Wolves who won in 5, pulling off the major upset. If you ask me, the Lakers' loss comes down to 2 words: LeBron James. To be honest, neither LeBron nor Luka played particularly well in the series.
How about Jackson Hayes? How are you okay, I don't even know. I'm already pissed.
Against the Wolves, this was especially the case in the 4th quarter. In his 54 fourth-quarter minutes, LeBron hit just 9 of 27 shots, and the Lakers were outscored by a whopping 40 points.
That's terrible.
Now cue the LeBron sycophants who will say,
What did you expect? He's 40 years old.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I expected him to be as good as you told me he was. I mean, we've been bombarded all season about how LeBron was still a top 10 player, that he's the greatest 40-year-old to ever play, that he's the oldest player to record a triple-double, the oldest to ever win Player of the Month, the oldest to ever flop like he got shot by a sniper. And now we can add one more to the list. The oldest player to ever shit the bed in the playoffs. And whether you're a LeBron stan or a LeBron hater, it's an undeniable truth that the end of this season for the Lakers was a major disappointment. And let me be clear what I mean by that.
Was it? Did anyone really expect the team last year to advance past the second round? Everyone knew that they pull off the Luka trade and it was like, okay, we're kind of playing with house money the rest of the year. They tried to do the Mark Williams deal at the deadline. That fell through, so they knew they were going into the playoffs with Jackson Hayes at center, the corpse of Max Christie or Maxi Kleba, and Rui Hachimura, like playing the big. Like, what are we doing? Sure, the Lakers were the 3 seed and the Wolves were the 6 seed. How many games do you think they were separated by? One game apart. Let's not act like this was some upset and some lower seed knocking off. No, dude. Look at this. Seeds 2 through 8 in the West were separated by 4 games. The Lakers were 2 games outside of being tied for 8 with the Grizzlies. Are we really talking about regular season seeding as the barometer for like playoff expectations when a team is starting Jackson Hayes at center? I agree. LeBron wasn't at his peak in that series. He probably should have played better. Yeah, but like, why are you trying to hype up this team that no one actually thought was that good? As if it's like a stain on LeBron.
These late season letdowns by LeBron are actually not that uncommon. I mean, sure, we know about the disastrous 2011 finals against the Mavs. That was such a catastrophic failure that even the shills on Clutch Sports payroll couldn't sweep it under the rug. But believe it or not,
Yeah, that wasn't great.
there have actually been 5 times that LeBron has lost a playoff series as a favorite. And in each of those cases, his team was not just a favorite, but a substantial favorite.
I see 2 years where he was a substantial favorite.
2 seasons in which LeBron's team went into the year as a top 5 title contender, yet failed to make the playoffs entirely. By my count, that's a total of 7 seasons in which LeBron's team finished well below expectations.
Brother, do you want me to pull up the rosters he was working with those 2 seasons? How about all of the years Jordan failed to make the playoffs? How about all of the years Jordan failed to make the NBA Finals? Like, what?
That ended in a huge letdown. And even in a 22-year career, that's a lot. It means 1 in every 3 seasons ending in epic disaster.
Yeah, also 1 in every 2 seasons he's going to the finals. You can't have it both ways, right? If we want to cherry pick and play percentages, LeBron didn't make it out of the first round 5 of 21 seasons or whatever the number is. Well, then why aren't we celebrating the fact that he made the finals 50% of the time?
Now, is LeBron James 100% responsible for all of these failures? Of course not. But as the team leader,
Not even
he gets
close.
the lion's share of the praise when things go right. So it's only appropriate that he should get a fair share of the blame when things go wrong. The first of LeBron's letdowns came in 2009, when his Cleveland Cavaliers lost to Dwight Howard's Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That was a great Magic team.
Of LeBron's 7 letdowns, this is the one where he deserves the least culpability, because overall, he played pretty well in this series, even hitting a buzzer beater to win Game 2. But it's also a series that LeBron's team undeniably should have won.
Oh, strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Are you kidding me? Are we really going to compare Anderson Varejao to Dwight Howard, Rashard Lewis to Mo Williams, Hedo Turkoglu and Jameer Nelson to whoever else was trying to score for the Cavs? Hell no.
LeBron generally put up good numbers in the series. He also struggled down the stretch of a few of the games. In the fourth quarter and overtime of the final 3 losses, LeBron shot just 38% from the field, 25% from beyond the arc, and 65% from the line. This to go along with 9 turnovers. If he had played just a little bit better at the end of those games, perhaps the Cavs advance.
If LeBron had just played a perfect series in every single game, maybe the Cavs advance. What are we doing? That's the whole point. LeBron had to do everything for almost all of his teams to ever have a shot. I'm not saying that Jordan didn't, but what's your point here? Mo Williams, Delonte West, Big Z, and Verjao were the second and through fifth leading scorers. All right, how about Game 6, the closeout game that ended their season? Let's see who played well in the fourth. Delonte West had 7. Mo Williams, LeBron had 4 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. They couldn't guard Dwight Howard. He had 9 points. They kept hacking him. He had 6 free throw attempts. LeBron had 37, 14, and 12 in this game. LeBron had 17 points in the fourth quarter. The rest of the team combined for 9. Oh, but keep telling me about how LeBron sucked down the stretch and it was a letdown of a series. Right. And that it's his fault they didn't advance to the finals. For sure, dude.
As in LeBron's own words,
I fucked up one time in 09 and didn't beat Orlando.
preach, brother. Preach. Letdown number 2 came the very next season, as LeBron's Cavs once again had home court advantage throughout the playoffs. This time, in the second round, they would face the Boston Celtics.
Is he about to discredit the team that should have won the title if Kendrick Perkins didn't get hurt in Game 6 against the Lakers in the finals?
This was the perfect opportunity for LeBron James to showcase why he was the league's back-to-back reigning MVP. And he certainly gave us a performance for the ages, just not in the way you'd expect. In fact, LeBron's play was so apathetic that the media, the fans, and the team's owner would accuse him of quitting on his team.
How about this? Let's look at some of these highlights they're using. Look how the Celtics are guarding this team. They have 3 guys in the paint. They're not even guarding Verjao, who's setting an invisible screen here. This guy is hand-checking LeBron. He's got his hands all over him. LeBron drives hard left. They basically send a double at him. They're leaving this dude wide open in the corner. What is LeBron supposed to do? You know what I'm saying?
Needless to say, the series loss, punctuated by that Game 5 debacle, would ultimately go down as a shameful moment in Cleveland sports history. Except for Delonte West, who seemed oddly upbeat after the series, but I digress. Letdown number 3 takes us to Miami, where in 2011 LeBron joined fellow
Yeah, okay, we all know about
Chris
2011.
Bosh
Fine.
to form a super team. To meltdown number 4. And for this one, we jump to the 2018-19 season, LeBron's first as a Laker. That year, LeBron joined an upstart Laker team flush with young talent, like Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso,
Flushed with young talent. Oh yeah. What a loaded team. Remember, none of these guys were that good yet.
Zubats. Jesus Christ, this team was loaded. They were a team that had won 35 games the prior season, and now they were adding LeBron James, along with Rajon Rondo and Kentavious Caldwell.
Oh shit. You just said it yourself. The team won 35 games the year before, and now you're expecting LeBron to essentially single-handedly win them a title? I feel like you just answered your own question. The fact that they're even in title contention is a testament to LeBron.
So how many additional wins did LeBron add to the team? 2, for a grand total of 37 wins.
That team's not good.
Be serious!
I'm quite serious, John. Although, to be fair, LeBron did miss a third of the season to injury. But even in the 2/3 of the games he played, the Lakers were barely a 500 team. So no matter how you slice it, the season was an abject failure. Now we move to letdown number 5. And this one comes fresh off the heels of the Lakers' 2020 championship in the bubble. You know, the championship that was supposedly the hardest ever because the players were forced to spend 2 months in a 5-star resort with nothing to do but shoot hoops, play video games, get massages, go fishing, hang out at the pool.
I'm so bored of debating the validity of the bubble title. It's objectively a normal title. I don't think it's any better. I don't think it's any worse. This is dumb, though. What are we doing?
So as the defending champs, what did the Lakers do for an encore? How about a first-round playoff exit at the hands of the Phoenix Suns? This, despite going into the playoffs as the betting favorites to win the West. and nearly a 2-1 favorite to beat the inexperienced Suns in round 1. Those odds jumped exponentially after the Lakers won 2 of the first 3 games in the series. But behind a subpar performance from LeBron James, the Lakers would go on to lose the next 3 games, and they would find themselves taking an unexpected early trip to Cancun. Of course, LeBron fans would tell you that the sole reason the Lakers were defeated was because of an injury that kept Anthony Davis out of the final 2 games.
First of all, that's part of it. Second of all, that Suns team, again, like, pretty good team. The Lakers also were the 7 seed, okay? So talking about betting favorite, here's the problem with betting odds too. Betting odds are partly calculated by where the public money is, right? All the sports books care about is having 50% of the money on each side of the bet so that they're guaranteed a profit. So the fact that the Lakers are so popular means people are often going to be betting on them heavily because the casual fan is just going to be like, oh yeah, let me go bet on the Lakers to win the title. So I think sometimes betting odds can be a good representation of probability, but not when it's a team like the Lakers and not when they're the 7 seed to the 2 seed of the Suns. Again, this Suns team was good. Why are we discrediting these teams?
The 2021-22 season, in which the Lakers entered the regular season as overwhelming favorites to win the West. After all, they had assembled a kinda, sorta, super team.
Oh my God, bro. I think this guy is rage baiting this entire video. I think this entire video is one big 26-minute rage bait. Super team. Is he possibly trying to hype up this Lakers team as good? Doc, this is like me saying, why didn't Jordan win the title with the Wizards? Here's what I'll say. If you want to criticize LeBron for wanting Westbrook on the team, like criticize the GM, fine. But the actual team itself, not good. Should have had no expectations. This is unction. You know what I'm saying? Dwight Howard, Carmelo, and Russ with Rajon Rondo. What are we doing?
I mean, sure, we all look back at the LeBron James-Russell Westbrook pairing as a complete mess. But I think people forget just how productive Russ was before joining the Lakers. Russ was coming off a season where he put up 23, 13, and 13 the second half of the year. And he was joining a team that all...
Okay, as the Wizards fan of YouTube, let me talk about Russ's one season in DC. He was really good the second half of the regular season. The first half of the regular season, it was an absolute disaster. Russ was horrible. And then let me show you what he did in the first round of the playoffs against the Sixers. Russ got his triple-double, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. He shot 33% from the field. He shot 25% from 3. He had 21 turnovers in 5 games. He had 2 steals and 1 block in 5 games. And the Wizards got gentlemen swept. Dude, I'm not going to allow this guy to sit here and try to hype up 2021 Russell Westbrook just to hate on LeBron.
Top 10 players in LeBron and AD. And not only did they fail to win the West, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. Heck, they didn't even make it to the play-in tournament. Sure, they did deal with some injuries. But even in the games that their star trio all played, they were merely a 500...
It's not a star trio! What are we doing? Stop! This is fake news.
team. And in the 56 games that LeBron played, they were 5 games
Oh yeah, because do you see who he just threw the pass to? Talen Horton-Tucker. Yeah, but in the 56 games LeBron played, they were... I don't even care what he's about to say.
Now, you might think I'm being a little hard on LeBron, but keep in mind that I'm using the same logic that his own fans use when defending his poor finals record. When you point out that LeBron is a measly 4-6 in the finals, the response from LeBron fans is always...
That's not fair. Of course LeBron has a losing finals record. He was the underdog in most of those finals.
And you know what? They're right. LeBron should not be crucified for losing to the Spurs in the 2007 finals. Nor should he be criticized for losing to the Kevin Durant-led Warriors in 2017 and 2018.
Yep.
Heck, I'll even give him a pass for getting boat raced by the Spurs in the 2014 finals, in a series that was widely expected to be a toss-up, but which LeBron's Heat lost in historically lopsided fashion.
Okay, he beat them the year before.
In each of the series I just mentioned, LeBron's team was an underdog. and he was therefore not expected to win. But if we're going to give him a pass for losing as an underdog, then it's only fair that we hold him to account for losing as a huge favorite.
They were one game better in the regular season. I don't think they were huge favorites. You can check my own video. I picked the Lakers to win this series, but I said I think the Wolves are a bad matchup for the Lakers. All right, here are my immediate thoughts on the NBA playoff bracket. And if I'm the Lakers, I actually don't like the Minnesota drop for them. I would have rather played Golden State than Minnesota, who's got Anthony Edwards and like so much more size. This wasn't some insane lopsided collapse by the Lakers. That Wolves team was good. They made the conference finals. What are we doing? What is this revisionist history?
Or for missing the playoffs in seasons where he had no business missing the playoffs. And
right, as they show a Tyson Chandler clip. How old was Chandler there? 49 years old?
disappointing finishes have happened in 7 of his 22 seasons, 1 in every 3 seasons. So the burning question is, how does this affect his legacy? And on a macro level, the answer...
Disappointing seasons in 7 of his 20... Bro, you're talking about the 2011 finals. You were talking about the 2014 finals. You were talking about the 2009 Eastern Conference finals. This is the bar that LeBron James has set. An Eastern Conference finals loss is a disappointing season. Okay.
is not very much. Despite all the season-ending letdowns, he is still arguably one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Not
But when we talk about
arguably.
LeBron's legacy,
Factual.
What we're really asking is, how does he stack up against Michael Jordan? And that's where he falls short. I don't mean that he falls short in the sense that Michael has better advanced stats and more individual accolades and is a more consistent defender and a superior shooter in the clutch and has fewer weaknesses and has more championships despite playing less seasons. I mean, sure, there's all that. But
I'm not even
specifically
gonna...
in
Okay.
terms of major letdowns, Michael just didn't have them. In his entire 15-year career, only one time did a Michael Jordan-led team finish below expectations.
I'll give you one. Here's the one. Here's the most overlooked fact of the GOAT debate that nobody talks about. Let me tell you about the NBA Finals in 1996. It was Bulls Supersonics. The Supersonics' best player was this guy named Gary Payton. Never heard of him? Probably the greatest guard perimeter defender we've ever seen. George Karl, who was the Supersonics head coach, did not have Gary Payton guarding Jordan in the first 2 games of this series. And so what happened, the Bulls won the first 2 games of the series. And then all of a sudden, they switched Payton on to Jordan, and his stats completely fell off. And the Supersonics won 2 of the next 4 games. I'm not saying the Supersonics would have won this series necessarily if they had just put Payton on Jordan from the jump. But this could have very easily been the Bulls' finals loss. And Jordan, when he was guarded by Payton, Game 4, he shot 6 of 19. Game 5, 11 of 22, 0 for 4 from 3. Game 6, he shot 5 of 19. The Bulls won the title 87-75 in a game where Jordan shot 5 of 19. He took 12 free throws. He had 5 turnovers. This is not like this godly Michael Jordan performance that we think he had every single game. So if you want to cherry pick LeBron for a couple games where, you know, it was disappointing, or a couple series that were disappointing where he didn't play his best, I can do the same thing. I can play the same game, right? So I just don't like this revisionist history, first of all, talking about good teams as if they weren't and bad LeBron teams as if they were, just by using preseason betting odds. Because, yeah, those are, again, the best way to characterize a team. What if Steve Kerr never hit that shot in 97? What if John Paxson never hit that shot in, I think, 93? What if Jordan all of a sudden was 4-2 in the finals instead of 6-0? Just because 2 of his teammates made or missed one different shot. Would it be then fair for me to be like, oh, well, Jordan could have done more in game 6 and like, well, no, right? Obviously not. So I just don't like cherry picking evidence and revising history as if it's some stain on LeBron.
And that was in 1995, the year Jordan returned from his first retirement, when his Bulls lost in the second round of the playoffs to the Orlando Magic.
But what about those first-round exits early in Jordan's career?
As we previously mentioned, Jordan was a massive underdog each time he lost in the first round.
What about all those years he lost to the bad boy Pistons?
Similarly, Jordan was a substantial underdog each of the 3 years the Pistons knocked him out.
What about when Jordan missed the playoffs with the Wizards?
In both years that Jordan was with the Wizards, Vegas picked them to finish 9th in their conference. And in both years, that's exactly where they finished. No, the only true letdown of Jordan's career was losing to the Magic in the 95 playoffs in a series the Bulls were favored to win. Although in retrospect, one could question whether the Bulls should have been favored. After all, the Magic had the best duo in the league in Shaq and Penny, and they also had home court advantage at a place where they only lost 2 games all year. And, as we all know, Jordan only played the final 5th of the season. But as you've probably figured out by now,
You want to know why they were the favorites? Because again, Vegas odds aren't... Think about it. Everybody was definitely betting on the Bulls and Jordan.
fan of making excuses. The bottom line is that the Bulls were favored to beat the Magic in 95, and they did lose. And a big reason for that loss was that in critical moments of the series, Jordan was not the best version of himself. And that remains the sole letdown of Jordan's entire career.
Let's just skip to the conclusion and hear this guy out for good.
These numbers all speak to one very important thing: dependability. Look, no one is going to win the championship every single year. Jordan had 9 seasons that he didn't win a title, and LeBron has had 18 seasons where he didn't win a title. But importantly, do you at least make the playoffs when you're supposed to make the playoffs? And when you get to the playoffs, do you at least beat the teams you're supposed to beat? For one of these guys, the answer...
Oh my God. If you're looking for a flawless resume, yeah, you're not going to find it with anybody, okay? Like, you just pointed it out yourself with 95 and Jordan, and then again, 96 Jordan. I mean, 94, the guy quit basketball, partly because he had a gambling problem, which no one likes to talk about. So... I think it's partly like a small sample size thing. I don't know, man.
is clearly yes. For the other guy, the answer is usually, maybe, sometimes. And frankly, this is an underrated aspect of the GOAT conversation. Everyone wants to focus on championships. I get it. Michael has 6 championships compared to LeBron's 4, which is even more impressive when you consider that Michael has played 7 fewer seasons. And when I look at this graphic, it tells me 2 critical things. First, when it mattered the most, Jordan was the more likely player to deliver the goods. And second, when it mattered the most, he was also the far less likely player to shit the bed. And in the results-based world of sports, nothing could be more important. Now, is that the only reason Michael Jordan is a superior player to LeBron James? No, there are at least a dozen other reasons, some of which I mentioned in a video I made 5 years ago, titled Jordan versus LeBron, the best GOAT comparison. A video that has generated nearly 5 million views, but who's counting? But while the talking heads debate this topic ad nauseum, there's not a lot of focus on letdowns, so I figured it deserved its own video.
Again, I don't know why we're not including, like you said yourself, some of Jordan's early years as letdowns. Like, the fact that LeBron has had so many years that even could be remotely considered a letdown is a testament to like his greatness and how he's elevated these teams that if we go back and look on paper, again, like why is a team with Jackson Hayes starting at center considered the 3 seed and the overwhelming favorite to win a playoff series? That just doesn't make any sense. Essentially 50% of the time he's been in the NBA, his team has made the finals. I mean, that's absurd. Like, he's been to a higher percentage of Eastern Conference finals than Jordan. I think every single round, he has a higher percentage of makes than Michael Jordan did in his career. So it just feels like this guy took 26 minutes to cherry pick and revise history in order to justify a few years that, outside of 2011, letdown, obviously. I have nothing to say about that. These other years, though, what are we doing? Those aren't letdowns. You know what I'm saying? And if they are, then Jordan has very similar caliber of letdowns. I think we're going to be debating this LeBron versus Jordan thing to the end of time. I also have always found it funny how Jordan fans will never give LeBron any credit. In fact, a lot of Jordan fans will do the whole, oh, Kobe's number 2 all time or Kareem's number 2 all time. Versus LeBron fans, including myself, all have respect for Jordan and say, hey, it's really close. We just prefer LeBron for reasons X, Y, Z. I feel like that should tell you something too. But regardless, appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think. Who's your GOAT? And until next time, peace out.